Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Good afternoon, Michael Malice here, and let that be your welcome for the next hour. This is going to be one of the more amazing episodes of Your Welcome because we have with us legendary YouTuber and now candidate for New York's 11th District, Joey Saladino, Joey Salads.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here. You are running to represent the district I grew up in because I grew up in Bensonhurst, 1461 Shore Parkway. You live in Staten Island.
Yeah.
Very Staten Island person. Here's the question. You're known for your humor, your pranks. You're running for Congress. The first question everyone's going to have is this a joke?
This is not a joke. I get that a lot. A lot of people in the DMs, half of them will be like, please tell me this is a prank. Because I guess they're on the left side and they're not too happy that I'm pro-Trump. And the other people are like, please tell me this is not a prank. Because they're excited that I'm running. And they see it as something new and something fun to get behind for sure.
So this district is the only district in New York City that leans Republican. Yep. Trump won this district by like 8 points. And it's been held by Republicans for a very long time. Currently, there's a Democrat in the race. So whoever gets the Republican nomination is going to have a pretty good seat. Are there people who are running against you?
Yeah, there's so far one that I know of called Nicole Maliatakis who ran for mayor and she failed miserably. She got like no votes. Total disaster. Yeah, the only borough that voted for her was Staten Island, and they weren't voting for her. They were just voting against de Blasio.
Right.
It was just like, we don't like de Blasio. Whoever's not de Blasio, they just voted for.
So what gave you the idea to run for Congress?
So I've been getting more involved in politics. The first time that I saw Trump speak, I think it was back in 2015 when he first announced. And my dad came over and was like, "Oh, do you see Trump? Trump's running for president." I'm like, "You get out of here!" I'm like, "You're crazy." I go, "This is just stupid." And then I heard him speak on, I think it was the first debate, and I was like, "I like this guy. This guy is really interesting. Like he says it how it is because he's got a New York attitude. He doesn't beat around the bush. He just says what's up." And ever since then, I started getting more involved, listening to him, watching the media lose their shit. Watching, am I allowed to curse on this show?
Only the N-word.
Oh, okay. So I
hard R.
I'm not doing no hard R's. Don't worry.
Okay.
So
Republican. The R's for Republican.
R's for Republican.
Go ahead. Sorry, Joe.
So after watching him, I got really interested. Watching the opposition on the left got me even more interested, and I always had in the back of my mind, I want to run for something.
Sure.
And at the time I was thinking maybe mayor, but I'm like, that's impossible to win if you're just going to jump in to run for mayor of New York City. That's a really difficult feat to do. And over the years, I realized, I was like, you know what? I don't want to run for borough president. That's right. Too lame. Anything super local, I'll be honest, seems kind of lame. And then I saw AOC. I'm like, she's a congresswoman. She's working in the federal government. She's got all this press. I'm like, you know what? Let me check out my district. And that's when I decided, I was like, you know what? I think Congress would be the best fit.
So but the thing is, I saw on your campaign site, I think it was, that your slogan was, "This guy fucks."
That was an article that was written about me. And I made a tweet saying, I've had sex thousands of times. I was like condoms, pulling out, just all the safe sex measures to avoid pregnancies.
Sure.
And I was like, not one pregnancy. But even if I was to get somebody pregnant, I'm prepared. And people lost their crap, their shit over what I said because I said I had sex thousands of times. And a bunch of articles came out talking about it, people trying to figure out the math to see if I really had sex thousands of times, and they totally missed the whole point of everything. So we're kind of just making a like a parody out of what they were saying. Like, I fuck a lot. Like, so what? They were trying to use it as a club against me.
So don't you think a lot of your fans are incels?
A lot of them are.
So if you've been fucking thousands of times, what advice would you give to them?
That's the thing. I'm trying to help them out. I'm not dissing them. They all want to fuck.
Right.
So I'm trying to help them out. Listen, I was an incel myself. I didn't lose my virginity till the end of high school. I was a loser. But once I came into my own, it was just a fuck fest, you know?
I think if you're getting laid in high school, you're still not a loser. I think the losers, if you want to call them losers, lose their virginity. Let's say, I don't know, maybe 37. I'm just pulling numbers out of my ass.
That's a. I feel bad for those.
Yeah,
people,
those people are terrible. So, but what advice would you give them to get laid?
Stay in your lane. If you're having a struggle getting laid, you got to stay in your lane. You got to go out, go to the bars, have fun. You got to become more confident. You can't, if you're going to sit at home and play video games all day, trust me, I do that a lot myself. I'll have my weeks, you know, I'm a girlfriend now, but, you know, in the days I'll have like, you know what, I don't feel like doing anything this week. I'm going to stay home and be a hermit.
Sure.
But, you know, you have those other weeks where you're like, you know what, let me go out, let me hook up with girls, let me talk to people, and I'll just go out every single night and just make new friends, talk to new people, slide into a bunch of Instagram DMs. That's how I met my girlfriend.
That actually works?
Yeah, it works. Especially when you have a verified check mark. It really works.
Are you fucking with me?
I'm not.
Oh, because I was on Rogan, and twice on Rogan, I'm like, I'm not fucking verified on Instagram, and they still don't fucking verify me. And
you gotta get on
Rogan
that.
was clowning me. Okay, so sliding to
You're not verified yet.
I'm not verified on Insta. I'm
Okay,
verified on.
I can help you get verified if you want.
And that means you're helping me get laid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Essentially,
so
yes.
Then I don't believe in voting. I'm an anarchist, but you're coming close to having my endorsement.
There we go.
So you really could help me get verified on Insta?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll follow up.
You have a bunch of like articles about you online?
Yes, I'm super famous.
You're good then.
Yeah. So wait. So the thing is, though, you're saying get confident, right?
Yeah.
If a guy's not getting laid, it's easy to say get confident, but the dad is telling him you're a loser. So how is he supposed to get confident? Do you see what I mean?
You got to break the mold. You got to break out of whatever you're doing. You got to say screw it. You got nothing to lose. Obviously, I got internet famous, and that's this new wave of celebrity.
Right.
So I always had that on me, and I would just convince myself, you got to become a douchebag, basically.
Okay.
You can't just stay in your head. You gotta hype yourself up in your brain. So like I at the time I was on Vine and I had like 100 and something thousand followers.
Okay.
In today's standards, that's nothing. But
No.
Is there a camera?
The other way. The other way. They had the edge too low. Yeah. Up. Go ahead, Joe.
So
There we go.
when I was first getting laid, you know, I had a few 100,000 followers on Vine. And to today's standards, that's nothing. Even back then, it was like, okay. But in my head, I would just make it out I had millions of followers. So this way, I'm like, I'm the shit. I'm the best. And I'll just go up and talk to girls because I know I'm the shit. I know I'm the best. And girls have a good sense of when they see a confident guy, as long as you don't go too far and be a total douche.
Okay.
You got to just be overly confident and just talk proper. And subconsciously, they pick up on that. That makes you more attractive. If you do all these little things, like say if you're a 5, right? And you do all these little things, brush your teeth, do your hair, wash your face, simple things, go to the gym, be confident. And if you do all those things, you can get yourself up to a 7.5.
Yeah.
And now
that's fine.
Yeah.
As long as I think with women, once you're past a certain point, it's at that
Yep.
point, you don't need to go to the 10.
Yeah.
If anything, that might even hurt you because they're going to be like, what the fuck's wrong with this dude? He's like, he's going to be annoying.
Some girls don't like when guys are too pretty.
Yeah. No, they don't. They're like, I want to be the pretty one.
Yeah, like my girlfriend, she likes ugly dudes. That's why I'm with her.
Well, wait. No. So I've had girls sliding into my DMs, and my friends over the weekend were making fun of me because I don't know how to make that conversion. So how do you do that without looking like a creeper?
So they slide into your DMs.
Yes.
So you just be like, yo, want to chill?
That's it?
That's it. If they don't want to chill, so I obviously have a little conversation with them, but then be like, you know, make sure they're from where you are.
Sure.
So this way, you know, it's doable to hang out, talk with them, and be like, hey, you wanna go out to eat, go out to dinner, go to the bar down the street, and chill.
That's it.
And that's it. I mean, if they're not down, then they're not down. You're never gonna bone anyway. So there's no point of talking to them.
Okay. So you got like a nice flow chart going.
Yeah.
Okay. What? Okay. I'll report back.
If they don't want to hang out, then they're not DTF. So there's no point.
This is a very smart system. And then why are you wasting your time thinking about it?
Why I'm wasting my
No,
time?
why would the person be wasting their time thinking about
Exactly,
it? Okay,
yeah.
so let's talk more about politics and the issues. Do you think you actually have a good chance of getting this nomination? Like fundraising, that's got to be tough.
Fundraising is probably the hardest. We have been getting a lot of donations from online from fans, but that can only go so far.
Sure.
We got to go for big donations, big fundraisers, and we're putting all that stuff together. But at the end of the day, that's such a traditional way of doing things that people come into this space with no background or little to no background. They don't have any followers on social media, and they get it done. There's so many congressmen you can go online that I bet have under 10,000 followers on Twitter.
Sure.
And if they do have any followers, it's all paid for.
Right.
I'm coming into this with 10 million followers across all platforms, 1 billion views a year. I'm going to draw some eyeballs. I'm going to draw attention. There already is a lot of people from the Republican Party that sees potential in me and wants to help. And they want to say, hey, we'll link you with these people. We'll link you with those people. We'll help you put this together. Tons of fans that also watch my stuff who have connections. And it's all spreading word of mouth because that's how I met my campaign manager. One of his friends was a follower of mine. And my campaign manager knows everybody. So his friend
Is that
was
him who's
telling
here?
him, No,
Okay.
he's a different guy.
Okay. You got a crew.
Yeah.
So you are taking this seriously.
Yeah. Legit.
So you've made a lot of videos in your career. What has been, between Vine and YouTube, what was the favorite video that you've produced?
My favorite video is probably the Ebola prank.
Why that one?
Because it was one of the real ones, and I had everybody convinced they had Ebola on Staten Island. So
That's a good prank. Yeah. So the Republican Party's actually been receptive to this.
I don't know exactly what they're saying, but I know it's got the eyeballs of a lot of the establishment types,
Okay.
for sure.
And I'm sure they're looking for their own version of AOC, someone who's young, social media savvy, which you obviously are, verified on Instagram, unlike losers, such as myself. And that's something that they would want to tap into.
Yeah, social media is the new wave, and I don't see anybody on the Republican side that is as savvy on social media as AOC. The closest would be Trump, and that's why he won. Even though he's 100 years old, he's still very on top of social media. He's always posting memes, and that's why he won the election, was because he's very social media savvy. That's the new medium. It used to be TV. TV's on its way out. It's already dead in the most part.
Yeah, now it's Netflix, if anything, and that's not even TV. That's downloads.
And I was watching Back to the Future last night. And have you seen that movie?
Of course.
Yeah.
Michael J. Fox was the only one on TV who looked like me when I was a kid.
So there was a scene where he goes back in time and he tells Doc Brown, like, he's like, who's president? He's like, Ronald Reagan. And the actor, yeah. And then there was another scene of them on the TV set with the VHS camera. And Doc is like, oh, no wonder why your president is an actor. You have all these portable TVs around. He's got to look good on TV. And I think that's a good representation of back then you needed to be very good on TV. Like before that, you needed to be very good on radio. Now you need to be very good on social media. That's why AOC is rising to power.
Don't you think when the boomers go after her, it always makes me cringe because they want to make her out to be a complete idiot. She's doing something right. And I think they can learn a lot from her.
The thing is, because since she is on like a first grade level with everything that she says, she appeals to a lot of the youth.
Yeah.
And a lot of the youth are on social media. So when she gets 100,000 retweets, I would say 80, probably 50, at least 50% are probably too young to vote. But they're already being indoctrinated into that belief system, even though how ridiculous it is. Those kids are growing up with those values and those, as crazy it is, that belief system. So there's nobody on the right to really capture that youth. It's pretty much sporadic on the internet and social media with just people who have shows. But there's no like politician that's actually able to indoctrinate the youth.
Right.
Yeah.
So have you lived in Staten Island all your life?
I lived in Staten Island all my life. And then I moved to LA back and forth for the last 6 years. I just moved back. I moved my whole business back full time these last few days. And I was in Hollywood for a few years, and that's where I pretty much did all my social media business, making all the connections, growing out my business, and I pretty much got it self-running at this point.
What does that mean, self-running?
So I have partners that handle a lot of the work, and I pretty much just got the ball rolling, so I don't really got to lift too many fingers. And that's pretty much what I've been working on the last 2 months, was making sure my businesses don't need to take up too much of my time, so this way I can focus on this.
How did you get to that many YouTube followers? I mean, that's a huge number.
So
subscribers, excuse me. Yeah.
On social media, a lot of people, like, Nick Monroe on Twitter.
Of course.
He got suspended.
Yeah, he was on this show.
Oh, yeah. So I told him, I was like, hey, I'm working with a new social media company. Are you interested in getting involved in it? And he's like, I don't really know. I don't feel like getting on too many social medias.
Dude.
And I told him, I was like, dude, I'm like, the only reason why I'm still alive right now and like in the social media space is because I got on every single platform possible. I might be making 1,000 on that app, 500 on that app, 300 on it. All adds up into a nice check at the end of the month. And I told him, I was like, when Vine was around, I had 1 million followers on Vine before it got deleted. But I knew Vine wasn't going to last. A year ahead of time, I predicted the downfall of the Vine.
How did you know?
I can just tell.
Okay.
I got an eye for it. So I started moving my entire following base over to my YouTube. Obviously, the conversion rate, you're never going to get 100% conversion. So I got about 100,000 followers over to my YouTube. And that's enough to have a good start on YouTube, where if I post a good video, it can go viral because I have a nice subscriber base. So I moved it all over, fully quit Vine. 6 months later, Vine's deleted. And then I started posting on YouTube, had a few viral videos. Next thing you know, my channel's in the mainstream, it blows up, and now I'm at 2.5 million followers there. Same thing on Facebook. And now Vine's deleted, the platform I started on. And so many Viners that were having 6-figure-a-year careers, no jobs now, because they didn't diversify, and they're still struggling.
And Nick, who just got kicked off of
the irony of it, if it
and
is,
he knew. I asked him on this show, don't you see if this is a threat that might be coming?
3 days before he got banned, this is what I told him.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And I'm like, I hope he comes back, obviously, but it's like I pretty much like warned him about it in a way.
Well, I mean,
and it was too late.
You don't have to be a psychic to be like, look, they're targeting certain people. You are doing massive damage to the narrative. Mm-hmm. Of course, they're going to look for an excuse to boot you.
Yeah, like I got suspended on my Twitter for, I think, 24 hours from a tweet that I made in 2012.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I said to him, because I don't know, who Pete Davidson, and he's on SNL.
Okay. Oh, yeah, of course I know who he is. Yeah,
I used to be best friends with him growing up. We're not friends anymore, but I tweeted at him.
You don't have a Hillary tattoo? No?
You went off the deep end when you went off.
Hillary tattoo is deep end. I agree with you. That is
off the deep end. And I tweeted out to him, let's fuck those whores. I don't know the context of it at all.
Some reply 7 years ago. Who the fuck knows?
And the Huffington Post reporter was like calling me out on it. You're such a shit human being. Why? Like going off, and everyone just ripped him to shreds. But I'm just like, they're gonna, obviously my campaign there's gonna be 8-year-old, 10-year-old tweets being brought up for sure. I don't even know the context to any of those tweets. That part of my life that long ago was just a blur.
Yeah.
So if anyone brings up any old tweet, I'm gonna be like, I don't fucking know.
A tweet it's like a fart.
Yeah.
It's like 8 years ago I farted, and now you're like, hey, it smelled 8 years ago. Yeah, no shit.
I think everybody has a bad tweet from years ago that they like, I don't remember making that, but yeah, that probably is pretty bad.
The question is if anyone has a good tweet. I mean, most tweets are terrible. Yeah. That's the whole point. It's just like
a horrible form for debating. It's a horrible form for it's okay for information. Like you can get information on it immediately as news and stories break.
Sure.
That's what it's good for, but I mean the amount of misinformation being spread on it, the simplification of debates into just a few sentences doesn't do any of it justice. Because it's what I've noticed is on the left wing, when the left wing is debating, it's so easy for them to express their beliefs in a half a tweet.
Sure.
And sometimes it takes Republicans 4, 5, 6 tweets to explain why that's a bad idea. But the average consumer that's reading this stuff isn't going to want to read a full article to know why this one paragraph is wrong. Where the majority of people read that one paragraph, oh, that sounds okay. Next.
You got into this kind of heated debate years ago with H3H3 about your videos, right? And some of them were like staged.
Yeah.
And you were like, all right, can you lay out what that whole deal was?
So me and H3 are cool.
Okay.
I love people that criticize my content, especially in a funny way. And I never shy away from anybody criticizing anything.
You're being a clown.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, how would you, as a clown, be like, "Don't make fun of me"?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous on purpose.
It's all part of the entertainment on YouTube. Where I'm still providing entertainment for YouTube, and people are gonna talk smack, people are gonna make jokes, and that's all part of the entertainment. So when people talk smack, people are like, some people come up to me still and they're like, "Oh, you and H3 have a beef." I'm like, I've been on his show 3 times.
Yeah.
And since the last time he made like a negative video on me, like, we're cool, we hang out, we talk about it. It's whatever. Some people, they don't see that. But yeah, everything's cool with that. I pretty much, especially in the last 2 years, I've pretty much came clean about like, what's up? Like, hey, pranks on the internet, 99% of them are all fake.
Yeah.
I'm making entertainments. A lot of them are real. A lot of them aren't real. Just watch it. It's just fun entertainment to watch, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's a dopey video.
Yeah,
I mean, like, fine. Like, if you watched the show Friends, you don't really need to think that Matthew Perry and Courtney Cox are friends. You could still enjoy it as a whatever it is, and it's a new form of. It's kind of a cross between a sitcom and the candid camera.
Yeah.
So, did you get like a lot of backlash? Like, what about when we were kids in wrestling? Right? When people were like, "Oh, wrestling's fake." What? It's not fun?
Right? Exactly.
Hulk Hogan's not an athlete. What are you talking about? So you're an entertainer.
They build up the whole entertainment for it. They show like the training montages whenever they do it, and they make it out to be like a real thing. But that's part of the joy in it, where you're just getting lost in that reality and just, let's just have fun for a few hours. Let's just pretend this is real, or let's just get entertained by it. We're just watching people perform.
Did you get a lot of heat from people who felt like betrayed or whatever?
Yeah, a lot of people did feel betrayed, which I kind of get, because a lot of people that come up to me, they'll be like, "Oh, I love this prank that you did. This was my favorite prank." And they're like, "Is it real? Is it fake?" And I don't want to say anything to them, because if it was a fake one, I would want to be honest with them.
Sure.
But at the same time, it's like telling them Santa's not real.
Yeah, yeah.
So I always leave it. I was like, I don't know. Decide for yourself. Yeah. To build the curiosity and the wonder behind the videos, where if I tell them it's fake, like, I told some people, like, "Hey, that one was fake," and I could see them get like physically upset, like depressed in a way. And I'm like, I can't do that.
I was hanging with my friends over the weekend. They knew you were coming in, and we're watching this one where you had like a Ferrari, and you're like giving it to a guy, like, "I'll give you the Ferrari in exchange for your girlfriend," and he's like having this conversation. I'm like, this would not happen, because you would be like, "Fuck off! You're not giving me your Ferrari, and I'm not in a position to give you my girlfriend." This doesn't make any sense. So you've made a lot of videos in your career. What has been, between Vine and YouTube, what was the favorite video that you've produced?
So I'd say my favorite video is probably the bait bag prank, because if someone was trying to rob from my purse, it would spray milk in their face. And one old guy, he was a homeless guy, and he went to steal the bag, and it sprayed in his face, and he was like, "I got shot by a cow." And I was like, what?
But that's the thing. Those are real reactions.
Yeah.
And it's much funnier, because when people are like on the spot, you can't write that shit.
Yeah, like if you're going to name any, like, what's your favorite of anything, it would always be one of the real ones, because the experience of doing it was also so fun. Even if the video came out like trash, like the Ebola prank video came out like trash, but it was just so fun to do.
Michael Malice here, and I want to tell you about something that's very, very near and dear to my heart, which is the Free State Project. If you go to fsp.org/join, you can learn more. What's the Free State Project? The Free State Project is a movement to get people to move to New Hampshire, one of the freest states in America, and make it even freer. They have 400 state reps. They only make $100 a year. 24,000 people have pledged to move. Over 4,300 have already moved. Wherever you go in New Hampshire, you're going to find people who share your values of liberty. It has a small population with a live free or die culture, and it's a natural destination for freedom lovers. If you go to fsp.org/join, you can learn more about the Free State Project. They have castle doctrine. They have no knife laws. They have gun clubs, constitutional carry. It's the #1 lowest state for property crime, the lowest homicide rate, the 3rd safest state for violent crime. If you go to fsp.org/join, you can learn more about living the principles that you hold. Spring's here, summer's around the corner, temperatures are rising, and comfort is king. And whether you're going for a hike, a ride, at the gym, playing ball, or chill on the couch, you want to make sure your feet are comfortable and don't smell. That's right. Heshi socks, HESHI socks.com. And if you use promo code welcome30, you get 30% off. You know I love my Heshi socks. I wear them around the house. They're made with high-end Pima cotton, which is very breathable in the warm weather. But they're also treated with antimicrobial properties to keep your feet fresh and smelling right. They're cushioned with stabilizing arch support and stay-up technology. I don't know what that means, but it works. They've got the fashion socks. They've got the basic socks. They've got the ankle socks. They've got a variety of colors and styles. If you go to heshisocks.com, HESHI socks.com, enter promo code welcome30, you get 30% off. Now let's get back into it. There's this other channel. Are you friends with the prank versus prank people?
I'm not friends with them.
They've got to be all. They've got. Oh, you hate them?
No, I'm trying to think. There was one point where I was being exposed for fake pranks, and like the entire prank community was talking shit about me.
I love that expression, the prank community.
They were all talking smack against me, and I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, all you fools make more fake shit than I have. You guys invented the fake pranks,
yeah,
and then like trying to call me out, I guess, to compensate for themselves.
Right.
So like Vitali, for example, he created fake pranks. He's the reason why pranks on the internet are fake, because when me and my boys started making pranks, they were all real. And we're watching Vitali and these other guys bigger on YouTube. We're like, how did they get reactions like this? Like, we can't, it's not possible. We're trying all these crazy things. We're driving around town in a center of disease control van telling everyone they have Ebola.
right.
And we can't get these crazy reactions. And then after like looking into it, we're like, realizing, we're like, yo, all these videos are fake. We got like, how are we going to keep up with them if we're doing our real stuff? So at that point, at that time, people were really interested in the hood pranks and fighting and things getting thrown at you. So we're like, that stuff's impossible to do for real unless you're like physically assaulting somebody.
Right.
So we're like, you know what? We're going to have to start doing this. And then we had to go in that direction, and the entire community was going in that direction as well.
And that's the other thing that's interesting. Like, thanks to MMA and UFC, right? Now we know what the dynamics of a fight looks like. So it's very odd to watch wrestling after that, because it's like, you know, if a guy does this move, how it would actually play out in a fight. So it just physically, it's not right. So when you see how people react, and now you have the actual data, you're like, wait a minute, people don't actually react like this. Like it's completely out of proportion. And the prank versus prank one, that's the one that really got me. I enjoy their videos a lot. I'm not trying to, cast shade, but the point is, if you're living with someone and your show is called Prank versus Prank, and something's weird in your house, you're not going to be like, this is weird. You're going to be like, all right, I'm getting pranked.
Exactly.
I mean, that makes no other sense.
Relationship Facebook pranks are probably the worst. Like, if you're ever on Facebook and a relationship prank pops up, sometimes these pranks don't even ground their pranks in any sort of reality. Whereas I'm watching them, I'm like, is this supposed to be like satire, or are they trying to play this off as real?
It's so bad. Yeah.
And I did an experiment once on my channel. I made a video that it was just so ridiculous. I was like, I'm dialing this shit up to 11 because I want to see if people online think it's real. I want to see what the reaction is. So I did a prank video where I gave a girl STDs. And to me, I thought that was over the top.
Yeah.
And everyone believed it. And I'm like, and it did really good numbers at the time. It did 10 times better than my previous uploads within that 6-month span. So it got me out of like a rut, my channel. And I'm watching it and I'm like, this is just ridiculous. I'm like, I can't believe people believe this. And that was like my own social experiment on my audience. And because I was watching these other pranks, it was like catching a child predator or catching a cheater. And it's just like, it is like bonkers, like off the walls, and people in the comments believe it. And I reached out to some of these channels, and I'm like trying to like talk to them to figure out like if they think they're doing something that they think is believable, or if they're doing satirically in it. A lot of them came off like they thought that they were making something believable, and you just watch it, and it should be like a crackhead dude like walking into a house to like rape a girl, and he's just like banging his head, like dancing around, looking like Super Mario. And I'm like, this is comedy. Right, but are you trying to play this off as real or a satire? And they were trying to play it off as real.
Jesus
And I'm like,
Christ.
this is nowhere in reality at all.
Let's talk more about politics. What do you think, what are your kind of key issues that you would kind of be involved in Washington?
So at the end of the day,
And where's your American flag lapel pin?
yeah, I gotta get that.
You got to get that
Yeah.
shit.
Adam, where are you?
He quit.
He's out.
He's disgusted. Where's the flag? He wants that flag pin.
Blaming him for it.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, Congress, you don't really have too much power.
Right.
You're just voting on bills. You can propose something, but that's like just a shot in the dark. The reason why AOC has so much power is because of her social media
Yes.
influence. And that's what I'm going to be going for, is starting movements, using this as a platform to start movements. Because right now the Republicans, we don't got anybody to
Right.
do this sort of thing. So I want to use my platform to pretty much mirror what AOC is doing, but on the right side. But what my main thing that I want to push for is to be very pro small business, because
Yeah.
I've Staten Island, even New York City as a whole, it is all small businesses. When I went to LA,
It's not just mom and pop, it's grandma.
Yeah.
Staten Island. It's
Yeah.
grandma's running that restaurant. Yep.
And just being involved in all these businesses, ones that I run myself, ones that I started up, friends who
Sure.
have businesses, and I'm like, how do you guys survive with paying constantly increased minimum wage? How do you guys survive with all the increased costs and everything? And they're like, we got to raise our prices. I can't profit as much. I got to work more. And I'm seeing it's just so, New York especially is very anti-small business, even though the city, it is all small business. So
Right.
that's one thing that I really want to fight for. And a lot of people don't realize this. When they do increase minimum wage, say they increase minimum wage from $12 to $15 an hour. The people who are making $15, $16, $17 an hour before minimum wage increases, they're not getting a raise. So now they can be working at a place for 5-6 years. They finally get their wage up to $16, $17 where they're chilling and comfortable. And then some new person comes in and makes about the same amount of money as them, putting in 0 time, 0 work.
Or that person who was making 12 was now making 0.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
now you're of no use. I would rather, because now me paying you that extra $3, it's not going to be worth it for me.
Yep.
There was this subway campaign, which was just hilarious, where they had the big, subway monitors, and they said coming in January, the minimum wage in New York City is going to be, $15 or whatever it was. And I go, there's something so ironic about the machine that's replacing you, telling you the reason why you're getting replaced. And that, especially for small businesses,
Yep.
like, and young people. If you want to hire someone if you want to hire an intern and give them $8 an hour as opposed to nothing, if I was a kid, I would love that.
And a lot of people, they don't realize this, is who can afford increased minimum wage? McDonald's, Subway, Papa John's, Pizza Hut.
Well,
because
he used the hard R, Papa John's.
yeah, he did. They can survive and increase the minimum wage because they'll automate. They buy their supplies in such bulk from corporate and headquarters, they can survive increased costs and it'll barely put a dent on anything. But who can't survive are the mom and pop shops. Joey's Pizza or whatever's pizza. They're not going to be able to survive because they can't automate. They can't buy in bulk. They can't buy all their equipment the same way Papa John's would buy theirs. So what happens when they go out of business? Papa John's just replaces them. And this is why all these billion-dollar corporations give so much money to the Democrats, because they know that. You think all these socialists and Democrats are anti-billionaires. Meanwhile, they're fully funded by the billionaires. It's like they're brainwashing the general public to make themselves think that they're against these billionaires, but they're actually for them. That's why you have Amazon. If they were to come into New York, they would have to get millions of dollars in tax credits.
Right.
And I think it was either the mayor or the governor even said, well, it's too expensive to run a business here, so we have to.
Yeah.
Well, why can't you just make it cheap for everybody, put everybody in equal playing field, nobody gets any benefits, everybody's just be pro small business, and that's you're good. That's it.
Let's talk more about corporations versus small business in the social media space.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts of places like, YouTube, Facebook, and all these other sites? Do you think they're targeting conservatives? And what's your answer to that?
They're 100% targeting conservatives. Now, is it within their right as a business to target conservatives? I think that's a good place to have a debate. I'm kind of on the fence. I can go either way about it, because a lot of times being in the space, I notice a lot of people who freak out. They're like, I'm being censored. I'm being blacklisted. I'm being throttled. And I can just look at someone's page and I can be like, you know what? That's because you're saying the N-word. It's not because you're a Republican.
Yeah.
You know, or it's because, you know what? You're spamming hashtags. That's what that flags the automated system. You're saying things that people report you. That flags the automated system. It's not every single case is a targeted attack.
Right.
Sometimes there's a simple explanation for it. And that's what people fail to realize. And I think a lot of it's overhyped, but that doesn't mean people like Nick Monroe. I mean, he was probably, I can only assume he was suspended for probably no good reason.
Well, they said, no, he wrote an article about it. It was like ban evasion because years ago he had an account that they shut down and now they nabbed him on it.
That's another thing is when Tim Pool was on with Jack Dorsey on Rogan, the lawyer was like bringing up, well, back in 2014, Alex Jones said this, and that's why we banned him. So that is another thing is if they don't like someone, as you said earlier, they'll go back and look for something to ban you. And it's messed up, the fact that they're going back there, but at the same time, it's still within their terms. They're like doing a loophole in their own rule book where there really should be like after 6 months or a year, you can't be flagged or reported for anything you did in the past.
Or you could be warned.
Yeah,
it
or
doesn't have to be
grandfathered into new rules. My YouTube channel, for example, they made a whole bunch of new rules on pranks. So they're going back and deleting tons of my old prank videos because they'll be harmful to others.
Oh, wow. Do you still have them backed up somewhere?
Yeah.
Okay.
And for the most part, they don't put a strike on my account. They'll just delete the video because they know you did this before the rule change, so we're not going to put a strike on you. We're just taking it down. They did one video where they actually put a strike, and I'm fighting the strike. It'll probably get appealed. I can go out on YouTube and say, I'm being specifically targeted by YouTube because now I'm conservative, but that would just be not true. Who knows? It could be true.
Right, yeah.
But they changed their rules, and my old videos broke the rules, and they're deleting them. So it's like, it's hard to tell sometimes. Obviously, there are times where channels just get deleted for no reason. And they're conservative channels, or we know Facebook is throttling conservative pages. We know that for a fact, even though conservative pages are their most popular pages on their platform. Same thing with YouTube. We know that they're throttling. The data's come out, but are they within their rights to do that? A lot of people don't realize is these social media tech companies are controlled by the advertisers.
Right.
Because advertisers don't want Coca-Cola to advertise on Steven Crowder, let's just say, for example. They'll tell YouTube, hey, we don't want this, this, and this on these types of conservative videos because we're going to get backlash. So YouTube will remove those ads from that type of content. And YouTube would want to make their money back because they don't want to promote views to a video that's not going to make them any money.
Right.
So they'll boost beauty vloggers. They'll boost the Young Turks. They'll boost anything that could make them money. And it's more of like a monetization algorithm. So it's not specific. It's not specifically. Obviously, there is a bias, and they don't know how to handle these issues, and they're probably just letting it happen because they agree. Yeah, we don't like them either. We'll do what you want. But at the same time, it's like from a company's point of view, they want to promote what's going to make them money. And if you think about it, these outrage mobs control the advertisers, and the advertisers control the social medias.
Right.
So if you just dial it back, it's the outrage mobs controlling everything.
What do you think of this? Are you following what's going on with Crowder right now? You brought him up.
Yeah.
How that guy from Vox is trying to get him banned from YouTube.
And that's another thing that they're doing is because I did my own research, and I went into about 50 conservative channels versus 50 liberal channels on YouTube and Facebook. Obviously, conservative channels always reign supreme, even though they were just people in a basement.
Right.
And while these liberal channels have millions of dollars in funding, they probably have back-end ad deals. So they're making even more money per view. And they can't compete. So that's why they're now targeting. That's why they're pressuring YouTube to delete their competition. And a lot of the reason why the Republican news does so well on social media is because that's our only outlet. We have Fox News, and that's it. And even Fox News hated Trump when he first started running. So at the end of the day, all we have is social media. That's why all the top pages are all Republican. The left wing, they have CNN, MSNBC, whatever channels, and nobody else watches anymore.
What did you? One of the points I made, and I want to hear your thoughts on this, is we are going to enter something that how everyone's like, "Oh, this has never happened before." We're about to enter something that's never happened before, indisputably. Which is, first of all, we've never had a sitting president get involved with the debates on the other side. But for the first time in history, the sitting president, while the Democrats are debating, is going to live tweet and be dropping bombs while they're on stage. And there's no guidebook for them to know what to do. Is it a good thing the president attacks me because that means he sees me as a threat? Is it a bad thing because now he makes me look like an asshole, right? They're going to have their social media experts, and those experts aren't going to know what to do because this has never happened before. So if you were advising one of these Democratic candidates for president and Trump is clowning you in your debates, how would you tell them to handle it?
I wouldn't want to even advise them.
Okay.
There is a way of handling it. And I would say just my campaign, at least I and my team, we studied the Trump playbook.
Yeah.
We followed everything he did from the start. We know what works. We know what doesn't work. Same thing with the AOC campaign. Obviously, she's an idiot, but her puppet masters knew what they were doing, at least in the social media space. They knew what they were doing. They spent the money in the right places. And we're pretty much combining both of those playbooks into one.
What did you think of when Elizabeth Warren announced and she had that video where she's in the kitchen grabbing a beer with her husband? I mean, how did that read to you?
That's the thing. If you knew how to do social media, you can flip that into a positive. But a lot of these old people, they're just so weird. They're so uncomfortable in their skin. You see Beto getting a haircut and it's awkward.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Warren, thank you for the beer.
Yeah.
And drinks it. Like, they're doomed. There's no way they can flip that to a good.
Okay.
Whereas I can do something really awkward and fun and goofy or cringy.
Sure.
And I can flip it to a good because I know how to interact on the internet. I know how to be a personality where I could, flip it. Like I dance. I'm a really bad dancer. And I know for a fact if I put up a video of me doing my stupid little dances at home,
right,
it will go viral because it's so cringy.
Yeah.
But I would know how to flip that into a positive press piece. Obviously, it would be negative press.
Sure.
But it would be positive.
But you'd be owning it.
Yeah, owning it.
Right.
You got to own it.
So that's the other thing with Warren especially. If she had some awareness of look, this isn't my thing. I'm a fucking college professor. I'm always going to be a college professor. There's a certain way to frame me, but the idea that I'm going to be cool grandma is psychotic.
Yeah.
Because and why should I? You don't have to be a cool grandma to be president.
Yeah. Here's a good example. Remember when Trump told Mayor Pete he looks like the guy
Alfred E. Newman.
Yeah. And Mayor Pete's like, oh, I don't know who that is. That was a lame response because he should know. I know who it was.
Of course he knows
25.
Who it is,
yeah. What he could have done to respond is actually dress up like him and get on a video. I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
That's it. Now you got respect from everybody because you're funny, and you just defeated Trump in his call out.
That's really smart.
I just came up with that.
Here's another. How is it that Buttigieg, in your opinion, is actually doing well? The idea that you're going to be a mayor of some rando Indiana town and be in the running for president makes no sense unless, like you're saying, there's people behind him.
Yeah, exactly. You got to have the right people behind you. And nowadays, if you did have the social media presence, you can be congressman of Bubkit, Idaho, in some little tiny district with 40 people. And as long as you have a following that goes beyond your district, like I have, like AOC has, like most people have, if they're popular online, then you can run for anything, especially president, because you're reaching everybody. So like, I was doing speaking events in San Francisco. I'm going to be doing speaking events in DC. My message, I've been getting donations for my campaign from everybody, like across the entire country. And I'm thinking to myself, if this was scaled exponentially by 100,000 times, then like that would put me in the running for president just because I have all the influence nationally. Even overseas, like outside your building, I got recognized from someone from Morocco as I was walking into the building.
Yeah, we have a sleeper cell waiting to be activated. Is that the car?
Yeah.
Take it. No. So Joey has a car that he's getting shipped from California, and it's been a huge pain in the ass. And I told him specifically that he should take the call while he's on the air because I know what that's like.
I think my grandpa handled it.
Okay, the frustration. I don't know how to drive, but I do know what it's like to wait for that package. You have aquariums, so waiting for those fish to come in the mail was not fun.
How big of a fish tank you got?
Not anymore. I used to have a 75. They were small, Brooklyn, apartment, but I had a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, nice.
Probably haven't heard.
I had like a 55-gallon tank
With what?
I had angelfish in it. I had like all like the cool freshwater stuff you can get, like little frogs, like this like loach looking thing.
Oh, yeah, the loaches, the African clawed frogs.
Yeah, the shrimp.
Yeah,
Just like a bunch of like cool things when people come over. They're like, "Oh shit, you got shrimp in there?" I'm like,
and
"Yeah,
they
bro."
breed.
Yeah. Everything would just have. It was like a total ecosystem. One fish would die, and I'll just watch all the things on the bottom eating it, and then there's a skeleton floating.
Yeah. It's fun. It's relaxing. So you've made a lot of videos in your career. What has been between Vine and YouTube? What was the favorite video that you've produced?
My favorite video is probably when James Charles did my makeup.
Oh, what was that like meeting him?
He was very, very flamboyant.
Do you have like a lot of flamboyant friends? In Staten Island, is there? I mean, there's a lot of that.
LA, I had a lot of flamboyant friends.
Yeah, like Maddox.
Yeah. He's very flamboyant. Yeah. Thought he was gay the first time I met him.
Yeah, and then you learned.
And then I learned he had a pretty girlfriend.
Michael Malice wants to tell you guys about Wix.com, Wix. With Wix, you can set up your own website quickly and easily. And this is something that everyone should have, even if it's just for your resume. You want to make shaving soaps in your house? Send me some. I'm down that rabbit hole right now. A professional looking website should be the first thing that pops up when someone searches for you, no matter who you are. If you go to letthatbeyourwelcome.com, you can see how easily we made one for my book and for the show. There's a link at the bottom, and they'll give you 10% off any premium plan. You don't even need to use the premium plan. You can use Wix for free. If you're only on social media with your business or yourself, what happens if you get suspended or booted? You got to be paranoid. With a website, you have that control. Go to letthatbeyourwelcome.com. Check out the site that we put together using their ADI, Artificial Design Intelligence, and click the link in the bottom to get 10% off any premium plan. BetterHelp.com. If you go to betterhelp.com/malice, you get 10% off your first month. What is it? BetterHelp offers licensed professional counselors who specialize in issues like depression. If you listen to this show, you're going to be depressed. I mean, I don't blame you. It's a depressing show. Stress, anxiety, relationships, sleeping, family conflicts, self-esteem. I don't have that problem. But if you do, you go to betterhelp.com/malice, you get 10% off. You can secure video or phone sessions or chat and text with your therapist. Anything you share is confidential, and it helps you connect with a professional counselor in a safe and private online environment. You don't like a counselor? They suck? They're making you more depressed by pointing out how terrible you are? If you're not happy with them, you can request a new one at any time at no additional charge. If something's interfering with your happiness or preventing you from achieving your goals, go to betterhelp.com/malice and get 10% off your first month. Now back to the show. I'm very surprised with how, given your internet persona, how on top of things you are with this campaign. And it is serious. And I think you do have actually a very good shot. Why are you starting this early if the campaign the vote's going to be, when's the primary?
I think it's next year.
It's a year now. So, I mean, you got a lot on your plate. Why are you working now?
Because I'm coming into this. This is my first time doing anything with politics. So there's going to be that learning period.
Sure.
It's going to take some time just to get things in order. And by the time we have things in order, we're already ahead of the game. I mean, in most ways, I'm already ahead of my competition. She's obviously ahead in the very establishment way. She started early, too.
Okay.
And I believe that's why she ran for mayor. It was a suicide campaign. And I'm hearing from people that she spent all of her resources only in Staten Island and I guess the entire 11th district. Because I think she was prepping to run for Congress. So if anything, she's started running in 2017, or whenever that election was. So she's got all the establishment backing. She's then got like $300,000, and that's probably from big money donors. She's got a billionaire sugar daddy behind her that's holding her hand the whole way. And I'm coming into this from the ground up, but at the same time from the top down.
Right.
And I just got to get into that middle area of the old traditional ways of doing things, and it's a lock.
Have you ever even met her?
I met her once. She went to my family, because my family owns a restaurant, the Marina Cafe in Staten Island, and it got demolished in the hurricane.
Oh.
So I convinced my grandpa to rebuild it. We spent over a year rebuilding it, and she came to the grand opening. And I didn't even know who she was at the time.
Right.
And I was just looking online. I was like, typing in Nicole Maliatakis, and then a photo of her and me popped up. And I was like, okay, this is weird.
Oh, yeah. I mean, are you getting a positive? Are you like working the streets and like talking to people that way? Or are you still
the way we're doing it is, since I have tons of fans online,
right?
Anywhere I go in my town, every store I go into, I get recognized by at least one group of people. Kids from probably 13 to 25. And then their parents, I'll take a picture with their 13-year-old and the mom's just like all happy, and it's nice. But I'm using that to spread the ground game, where if I meet them, hey guys, I'm running for Congress. You guys better vote. Yeah, I'm voting for you 100%. You're going to be my first vote. And also online, I'm getting a lot of DMs. Hey, I'm from Staten Island, and we're going to be meeting with people individually from my fan base online. So we're setting together. I've done house calls like this in the past, but not for my campaign, where like my mom's friends, kids would be a big fan. And I'll set a day. Okay, I'm going to come visit them at this time on this day. And then all their friends are there. The whole family's there. The grandma comes up from the basement. And they're all like Tom Cruise visited the house.
Yeah.
And they're all taking pictures with me like a celebrity came and visited. So we're going to be doing that same thing, but for my campaign. And that spreads word of mouth as well, because I'm already a celebrity in my own right. So I'm going to go show up to a house. There's going to be 15 people there because everyone, all their friends are going to want to see me as well. They're all going to take photos, and then that spreads because they post their photos on Snapchat and Instagram. And now it's converting the social media game into a successful ground game because it's combining the two.
The more I talk to you, the more I'm realizing this might be the smartest thing that could happen for the Republicans in the House, to have someone in Congress who knows how to work the social media system. Yeah. I mean, that has been so effective against even like the corporate press. All these reporters on Twitter are getting clowned so hard for their bullshit regularly. And things like you were saying, you have to have 5 or 6 tweets to explain the Republican point of view, or you have to have that one meme.
Yep.
And right away, it's like a nuke. And it's just like, here's another example, like Eric Swalwell, who's running for Congress.
You called me a Nazi the other day.
You'd be more of a Mussolini fascist. That's not, I mean, Nazi adjacent at worst, right? But I have about as many followers as him. And now I'm like, all right, now we might have a little...
Run for president, bro.
I wasn't born here. I was born in Russia.
Oh, man.
But it's like, now I could have fun with this dude because he has his megaphone. My megaphone's just as big as his. And he's going to have some video where he's talking about cringe, where he's sitting down with like these like black guys and they're like, talk to me about what, you know what I mean? And like, all you got to do is hit him and you make him look like an asshole.
Yeah,
and
he doesn't know how to handle the cringe.
Right.
He makes it worse. Like he did that one thing that went viral for all the wrong ways where he thought he was owning this, like, I think it was like a pro-gun mom.
Yeah, it was Rambo Briggs, who's a buddy of mine. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just so cringy watching him try to do these owns. Like when he tweeted out a photo of me as a Nazi, which was from a social experiment, Frank. And the video was, hey, I'm going to dress up as a Nazi at a Trump rally, and let's see if Trump supporters are really Nazis.
Right.
I went there. They almost beat the shit out of me. They kicked me out.
Yeah.
Conclusion, Trump supporters are not Nazis.
Right.
And the left-wing media, not so much the mainstream, when it's full mainstream, they realize, we're not going to run this, but like the smaller websites, the big Twitter accounts.
Sure.
Joey Salds is a Nazi. Joey Salds is a Nazi.
Right.
Some Jerry Saltz, apparently people know who that is.
New York Times, art critic.
He posted it. They spelt my name wrong. Saladino. Something.
Okay.
They spelled it all wrong. Oh, this guy's a Nazi. This is all you need to know about him. He's running for Congress in districts.
Stephen Colbert is giving the Nazi salute on the fucking late night. How's he not a Nazi too?
Exactly. They take things specifically out of context that fits their narrative. Because the right, we care about context. We see something, we're like, we need to know the context of this. The left sees something, especially on social media. Who the fuck cares about context?
Right.
It just fits their narrative. And all these people that always post the Nazi photo of me, they get ratioed beyond belief.
Yeah.
They're like, you fucking idiot. It's from a prank video. Do some research, especially against Eric Swallows. People are like, dude, you're running for president and you can just do a simple Google search.
Right.
And you'll know that this is bullshit. And he leaves it up, obviously. Because then they're too embarrassed at that point.
Yeah, right. And then what else they're going to... But it's just very, very funny to me seeing how incompetent they are.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Eric Swalwell, I don't know if you saw this just yesterday, he was like, oh, if you want to own the trolls, here's what you got to do. And I just retweeted, goes, Eric Swalwell believes that people are his property and gives you instructions about how to own them. And that went bigger than his tweet.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, you want to play this game? You believe in
Yep.
slavery. You just talked about owning people.
Yep.
And what do they do? And he's not old. It's not like he's
like in
70.
his 30s, right?
Yeah, or 30s or early 40s.
32
It's like, dude, you don't have to be this way, you fucking weirdo robot.
Yeah. That's the thing is, I feel like there's a lot of these politicians that are just like very off.
Yeah,
And
something's wrong with
he's
them.
one of them. And like I look at him and I hesitated on making fun of him for the longest time because I honestly thought that he had some type of Down syndrome thing. I don't want to be offensive to people with Down syndrome, but like just looking at him and the way he talks, I'm like, this guy might be a little off. So I reframed from making fun of him for the longest time until I realized I'm like, this guy just might be an idiot.
Yeah.
And then that's when I started going off on him. But I reframed for the longest time. And I didn't see anything online about any mental disorders that he has.
Just what he says.
Yeah, just like what he says. And like, he's a little off.
Who do you, of all the Democrats, who do you think has the best social media game?
Obviously, AOC.
No, of the presidential candidates.
Oh, at the president?
Or I mean, someone's got to be least bad.
I'm trying to think. It would be Beto, but he's so awkward.
No, you know what about Bernie? He's not bad.
I guess Bernie, yeah. Because he does it. But the thing is, he's not doing anything cool or innovative.
Sure,
but
but-
I think he does that because he can't. Like
Right.
when Hillary Clinton was like,
I'm just chilling in Cedar Rapids.
Yeah. I think Bernie knows if I was to do something like that, it would be terrible. So he doesn't even try.
Yeah.
And he appeals to the younger crowd because, you know, he's like 5 for 15, free college, free this, free that. And, you know, obviously all the young teens or young adults, they're going to rally behind that. And I think he knows it. He knows what lane to stay in.
Yeah,
he knows
how to get laid. You stay in
Yeah,
your lane.
yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
being competent and not funny is better than being a try hard and failing.
That's why all these Democratic candidates are all trying
Yeah.
to be the mix of AOC and Trump, but they're failing miserably.
I mean, how bad is it when you watch Kamala? Who's worse, Kamala Harris or Elizabeth Warren? Oh, right. It's like
That Kamala Harris, the Bob Marley thing,
Yeah.
that was cringy. But Warren, she can't even hold a conversation with anyone without making you cringe. But when Kamala Harris was doing that interview, the Bob Marley interview, you can see she started it out all nice. She was like smiling the whole time, and as soon as they asked her a question, like, "What's your favorite music?" She's like her face dropped, her facial expression stopped. Like you can see visibly that she's out of touch with everything. Like if you ask me any question about me personally, I'll know it off the bat.
Of course.
Like, what's your favorite music? Punk rock. What's your favorite band? Blink-182. Name one song you listen to today. First date. And it's just like, you should just know that stuff. Like
It's a human being.
Yeah, that's why I think that she listens to like Frank Sinatra and white people music, because she was trying to pander and make something up to appeal to her minority base.
Yeah.
Where she knows if I say Bob Marley's black. Oh, I'm part Jamaican. I can pander to the whole black crowd. Yeah, I'll say Bob Marley. And it's like, okay, name a song. You're like, anything by Bob Marley. Like, you know, you can't even name because you're lying to pander.
Right.
And that's what happens when these politicians lie.
Well, she can't say I shot the sheriff.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
hilarious.
yeah.
Might be a little
That was the only
fucked
one
up.
she can think of.
Yeah. But did you see that the Elizabeth Warren video when she was on the Breakfast Club and Charlemagne called her the first Rachel Dolezal?
I didn't watch it, but I saw the thumbnail for it. I'm like, you know, I don't think I can deal with this.
It's
right
bad.
now. Yeah.
It's bad. It's so it'll be tough. Okay, so we're running out of time. So let me just ask you this: what has been your favorite part of this interview?
I don't know, like favorite part of the conversation,
Yeah.
or
What was your favorite part of this interview?
I think talking about social media.
You are welcome.